Henderson to the left, Washington to the right, and Cap being chased by Buchanan. Now Brown, fumble. Minnesota picks it back up again. And Cap is hurt. Cap trying to get up. Lynch, in a very solicitous fashion, checks him to see if he's all right. First it was Buchanan, and then it was Brown.
Tremendous pursuit by Kansas City. Buchanan, 86, is first. Then Brown, 86, forces him wide. That's Buchanan. 87 is Brown, and he puts the crusher on. The crusher it is.
And Malone, 63, recovered the fumble. Gary Quazzo is in at quarterback. Cap along the sideline. Quazzo, playing for the first time, is faced with second down and 23. He gives the ball to Reed. He's still going. Crosses the 30 before Emmett Thomas threw him to the turf. It'll be a third down play. Gary Quazzo, the 7-year veteran who played at Virginia, understudied Johnny Unitas, in there quarterbacking the Vikings now with 5:10 left in the game, and Oscar Reed to the sideline. There's Cap being tended to at the bench.
When he went down, it appeared that Aaron Brown, who, as Jack Buck said, weighs 265, landed right on top of his stomach. Probably knocked the wind out of him.
Lindsey is in there for the Vikings, along with Osborne and Brown. Lindsey's in the pass pattern, and Quazzo hits Henderson. First down beyond the 45-yard line with Jim Kearney covering him.
From the Minnesota bench, we have word that it was Cap's left shoulder that was injured in that collision with Aaron Brown. Quazzo had a lot of zip on that ball. There's Cap. Obviously still in pain.
The first down for the Vikings at their own 48-yard line. 4:20 left in the game. Kansas City leading 23-7. Fake to Osborne. Good blocking, and the pass is thrown out of bounds by Quazzo. And you know that he threw that one away intentionally, as Washington was double covered by both Thomas and the linebacker Jim Lynch.
That's the same play that Cap got injured on, that short rollout, except that time Beasley, the tight end, stayed and got a good block on Aaron Brown.
That out-of-bounds pass stopped the clock with 4:10 remaining. And the Vikings need some lightning. Henderson right, Washington left. Lindsey is split right. Fake to Osborne. Buchanan is picked off, and so is the pass by Emmett Thomas. Thomas is at the 35, and down he goes. And again, with Bill Brown making the tackle, the Chiefs get the football back once more.
Kansas City's third interception. It's the same pass that Cap had intercepted twice, as Quazzo rolls to his left and tries to hit his tight end. This is Lindsey coming across here, and he just couldn't force it in there. Thomas with the interception. Bill Brown's going to make the tackle. A good tackle it is.
There's a timeout with the score. Kansas City 23, Minnesota 7. Let's pause for a moment. And they have the ball on their own 34-yard line with exactly 4 minutes remaining in the game. Dawson is quarterback throughout. Fakes to Hayes and goes to the air, surprisingly. Now he's going to run, even more surprising. And he really ripped. And Dawson got to the earth as quickly as he could, as Alan Page and others were after him. He disappeared, didn't he? To the point where the two Minnesota tacklers like to nullify one another. There's Joe Cap along the sideline, and it appears, Pat Summerall, that he's bounced back from that injury.
So we told you it was his left shoulder that was injured in that collision with Brown. Dawson's lucky he went to the ground that time, because there's no way he could have known that it was Page behind him. And if they'd had a shot at him, he might be in the same shape as Joe Cap.
He ran for a first down to the 45, and the clock is running. 3:12 left. Out of the power I. Arvanis to the right side. Pitts is split left, a long count. And a give to the running back, Wendell Hayes. Now there are 3 minutes left, and Lonnie Warwick made that tackle. This is an attempt to win the second in a row by the AFL. If they pull it off, the Chiefs, this being the 4th Super Bowl, It'll make it 2 wins for each league. What with the consolidation coming about, and the benefactors of all this are going to be the football fans of this country.
Certainly will. I think one of the things a lot of people forget is that the Kansas City Chiefs are a team that's been in existence longer than the Minnesota Vikings. Kansas City 10 years old, Minnesota 9 years old. And it would certainly appear that if they were ever equal, they reach that point right now.
2nd down and 11 from the 43-yard line. Our bandits to the right. Otis Taylor is wide right. The give to McVay. McVay spins back to the original line of scrimmage, and the next order of business will be the 2-minute warning. Where the clock is running, the clock is official, and we have 2:05 left. 23-7 in favor of Kansas City. And the 2-minute warning being given at this moment. With the score, Kansas City 23, Minnesota 7. Let's pause for a moment.
Pardon me. What's in the basket?
Oh, wild berries, fresh spring flowers,
Oh.
and country soft, country fresh Salem cigarettes.
But what's that tune you were humming?
Oh, it's the Salem song.
And what are the lyrics?
I thought you'd never ask. You can take Salem out of the country, but
The Chiefs from Kansas City are only 2 minutes playing time away from being the champions of professional football. They are leading 23-7. Hank Strand, you'll meet all these people in the dressing rooms, both winning and losing, when the game is over. 3rd down and 11, Kansas City from their own 43. Dawson on a delay to McVay, a fake. He still has the ball. Eller drops him down, and a flag is thrown. And it was Page who got him after he ducked away. And now a little extracurricular action, quickly broken up by the officials. Both benches come into the area, and cooler heads prevail, gratefully, with 1:53 remaining in the game. Lonnie Warwick jumped in there. Alan Page took a rap at Lenny Dawson and brought the flag about after Carl Eller had made the original tackle, and referee John McDonough shoos people away and marks it off against the Vikings. And that will give Kansas City a first down, perhaps. See where they put it down. Now it looks like they're going to be shy of a first down.
But just barely shy. Looks like maybe a half yard or something like that. And if they do get this first down, oh, it looks like it is a first down, Jack.
It is. They got enough yardage, as it turned out, for a first down to the 45-yard line of Minnesota, with only 1:53 left.
And this should just about do it unless Minnesota starts to call timeouts now. They have 3 of them left. Kansas City has 2. Of course, they won't be using any. So that first down right there should just about do it. 1:53 left. Kansas City 23, Minnesota 7.
Dawson in the power eye, ships them out with McVay, with Hayes, gives to McVay. McVay broke one tackle. McVay got away from Carl Kosalki, who was up lurking on the line of scrimmage, and then Jim Marshall tackled him. Clock continues to run. McVay picked up 5, and it's 2nd and 5, and some of the tempers continue to flare as Ed Buddy started to get involved. Here comes Dawson out of the game. Dawson to the bench. And the Kansas City fans, and look at his teammates mob him. He deserves all the praise we can send his way, Pat Summerall. He did an excellent job.
What an afternoon. 12 out of 17. His pass completion record for the afternoon. Mike Livingston is the quarterback now.
Livingston on a straight-ahead play to Wendell Hayes. 1 minute left in this Super Bowl. Lonnie Warwick, the tackler. That was the 2nd down play. Minnesota not really anxious to stop the clock. They trail by a considerable margin. Hayes comes off the field. He is replaced by Podolak. Ed Podolak, number 14. 40 seconds remaining. One more play. And then, if Minnesota does not stop the clock, the Super Bowl will be history. Running with the ball is Robert Holmes. The tackle is made by Lonnie Warwick. The Vikings do not stop the clock, and you can count it down yourself. The score is 23-7. We're going to go to both dressing rooms. Stram is already on the shoulders of his players. And after being vanquished by Green Bay in 1967, the Chiefs are the champions of pro football. Escorted off the field. You can see 89. You can see number 3. 89 is Taylor. Number 3 is Stenerud. And the hilarity on the field matched only in its contrast to the picture which prevails on the far side as the Vikings, the champions of the National Football League, go to their dressing room without the Super Bowl trophy. And we see Hank Stram. He's looking, I know, for Bud Grant, so they can exchange amenities there in the field, and evidently Grant is not to be found at the moment. And so Stram heads for his jubilant dressing room in the end of a long, hard season. For Kansas City, the champions of pro football, after finishing second in the West with a record of 11-3, defeated New York, defeated Oakland, and today outdid the favored Minnesota Vikings. They led 3-0, 6-0, 9-0, and 16-0 at halftime. Each team scored in the third period, with Dave Osborne getting the only points for Minnesota. Red Cox with the extra point, of course. Then Otis Taylor with a 47-yard touchdown, which was the final score of the game. 3 interceptions, some striking end-around plays on the part of the Kansas City Chiefs, and as we mentioned during the telecast, it really was a play that didn't work much in the National Football League this year because it had been so effective in the past that other teams had defensed it. But the Chiefs made it go today, with Frank Pitts being one of the outstanding performers. The offense matched the defense for the Chiefs, and they walk away with all the marbles. The Vikings never could get on track. Trailed at the dressing room 16-0 at halftime. Came out, got the first score. Then if you look back, as we watch the Southern University band, if you look back to the third down play, which took place right in front of the Kansas City bench, the score was 16-7 at the time. And had that third down play not gone, Kansas City would have had to give the ball back to Minnesota. You can picture a Viking score and a change of the entire situation. But it didn't happen, so now we're in the winner's dressing room. And that's Emmett Thomas. We're outside the dressing room, and it'll be a while. The Kansas City team will conduct a team prayer. I just saw Weave Eubank, the coach of the New York Jets, heading toward the Kansas City dressing room. Stein is number 66, Lanier is number 63. They'll conduct a team prayer, and then our CBS cameras and Frank Gifford, there's Hank Stram, Frank Gifford and Pat Summerall will take you into...
I'm very, very proud of the team and Hank, and most especially Len Dawson, because I know how much the game meant to him. And we're very proud to be the champions of pro football, and it's a fantastic sport, and we'll now have to set out to defend those honors next year.
Lamar Hunt, the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, and we're going to ask both of you gentlemen to stay with us for just a moment. We'll get Commissioner Rozelle for the presentation, and we'll be back with the 1969 world champions back in the Kansas City locker room, where Commissioner Pete Rozelle, the commissioner of pro football, is going to make the presentation to the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, Lamar Hunt, head coach Hank Stram, commissioner.
Hank, your club proved themselves true champions. They overcame injuries early in the year, and then on successive games, you defeated last year's Super Bowl winners, the Jets, the Western Division winners, the Raiders, today the Super Bowl. True champions. Congratulations to you and Lamar.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Commissioner. We appreciate this honor greatly, and I assure you that this belongs to our whole squad and our whole organization. It's a great compliment to a great bunch of people, great compliment to Lamar, Lenny Dawson performed extremely well today under adversity, but we're very happy to be champions of the world, and we're going to do everything we possibly can to maintain the prestige of this great honor. Thank you very much.
Hank, again, our congratulations. The beautiful Tiffany Trophy, the beautiful silver Tiffany Trophy, representation of the champion of all the world. And again, could I get your reaction, Lamar Hunt, as you look back to those other years, some 10 years ago? There must be quite a reaction.
That's pretty fantastic. It's a beautiful trophy, and it really is a satisfying conclusion to the 10 years of the American Football League. And there have been a lot of people put a lot of time and sweat and energy into it. And I want to say especially a thanks to the people of Kansas City. This trophy really belongs to them too, as well as the organization, because the team is Kansas City's.
Very happy owner, Lamar Hunt. Again, our congratulations to you, Hank Stram. I know you want to get around and talk to your individual players. Thank you for joining us. We can maybe have you come back and spend a few more minutes with us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Ernie, this is Ernie Ladd. I hope you can see big Ernie Ladd. You said something just a moment ago. Ernie Ladd was not a part of this victory here today. He's been a big part of the Kansas City Chiefs. Ernie Ladd, you said something. You were a part in your heart.
Oh, yes, of course. I've been wrestling all season in Madison Square Garden, around New York and Boston and other places. But in my heart, I want to tell you, I was a part of this organization. Like they might try to forget the American Football League, but we'll never forget it. Some of the founders, we'll never forget it.
A lot of people won't forget it either.
And let some of the participants get in here and talk with you.
Ernie, great job. Let's go right now to Pat Summerall, and then we'll be back in a moment with Lenny Dawson.
All right, Frank, as you can tell, it's Bedlam. I'm with one of the real veterans of this Kansas City defensive unit, and the man they tell me is the inspiration leader for the whole team. That would be Jerry Mays. And congratulations, Jerry, on an outstanding afternoon today.
Thank you so much. I don't believe I've ever been so happy in my life.
I can well imagine. Before the game, during the week, you told me that you had something stuck in your craw for a long time, the fact that Green Bay had beaten you in the first Super Bowl. You think that had a lot to do with this afternoon's victory?
Well, I think it helped us a great deal, you know, the fact that we were so humiliated in the first Super Bowl. And of course, we had confidence this time, but I think it was an added incentive for us this year. We've been living with that for a long time.
Jerry, you took it to Minnesota right from the very beginning this afternoon. You seem to be completely in command of the situation throughout the day. Did you approach practice like that through the week?
Well, I think we had a great practice. We had, like I say, a little inner confidence, and we felt like if we could out-hit them, that we could beat them. And we had all the respect in the world for Minnesota. But we felt deep in our heart that we were a little bit better team. Just a little bit better.
I'd like to get your impressions and your thoughts about the quarterback, Lenny Dawson.
Well, of course, all of us wanted Lenny to have his biggest day today because of the gambling question that came up during the year, and all of us love Lenny. He's been through some real rough times, especially this year with his knee and his dad, and we wanted, all of us that have been with Lenny throughout the years have wanted him to have the biggest game today, and I think he did have a great game.
You hear a lot about Minnesota being a team of love, but this is a team too like that.
Oh yeah, we're very close. We really are, and it's the darndest team I've ever seen. There's not a guy on this team, I believe, that gets on anybody else's nerves, much less dislike anybody.
Jerry Mays, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Much good luck. Much good luck. Now let's go back to Frank Gifford.
Jerry May, and we'll be back with Lenny Dawson, the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, and the rest of the world champions in just a moment. Lenny Dawson, the young man who engineered a great victory for his Kansas City Chiefs today. And Lenny, it's got to be the highlight of a truly great career, collegiate at Purdue, an All-American there, and an outstanding professional. Your own personal feelings?
Well, Frank, I'll tell you, everybody wants to get a shot at the big one. If you're a boxer, you want in the heavyweights, you want to get a shot at the heavyweight championship. That's all we asked for all along, that you have the opportunity to play in the championship game in our league and also to play in the Super Bowl game, and then hope that we could put things together in the Super Bowl game. I thought our guys out there did a tremendous job, both offensively and defensively, because Minnesota is an outstanding football team.
Lenny, they protected you just great. It appeared that way to me.
Well, they dedicated themselves to do that. I knew all along that they were going to do a great job against the Minnesota front four, and when you do the job like our guys did against a team like that, they have to do a fantastic job. And plus the fact that David Hill, during the course of the game, I think he hurt his knee or something, and he wasn't at full strength the entire game. Of course, he's over Carl Eller, and he's a fantastic football player.
Well, Lenny, a well-played game. If we could, I'd like to have you stay with me just a moment. Right now, we'd like to cut quickly to Jack Whitaker.
Thank you very much, Frank. Over here in the Minnesota dressing room, it's a little more quiet, obviously, than where you are. Here's the head coach, Bud Grant of the Minnesota Vikings. It's not one of your most memorable moments today, I guess, Coach. What happened?
You saw what happened. We played a fine football team, and I think Kansas City are deserving winners, and certainly you couldn't have a finer team represent professional football as our champion.
I know that you had said, and some of other people in Minnesota through the week, that you were worried about this club. They were a physical club, and that your pass rush might be blunted somewhat. Kind of turned out that way in some respects, didn't it?
Well, I think we're a little similar in that when they get ahead, they're very tough to come back against, and this has been something that we've been fortunate to be able to do, to get ahead of teams, and their ball control and their style of play and their tough defense. And we thought we had a chance at halftime. We got back in the ball game with 10 points away, but when they got that last touchdown, I think that was, you're not going to come from 3 touchdowns behind and beat a good team like Kansas City.
How about the mental attitude of your ball club? Did you feel that was any different today?
No, I think this club has always been really ready to play football. I think we played as well as we could today. Tomorrow might be another story, but we played the game today.
Getting up emotionally as you've had to now for Los Angeles and then Cleveland, and now this one, takes its toll sometimes, though, doesn't it?
Well, Kansas City had to do the same thing. They had to play in New York, they had to play in Oakland, and they had to play here, and they're all 3 away from home, and I think they've done a tremendous job.
Well, so have you, Bud. I know it's a great disappointment, but we're going to hear a lot more about the Minnesota Vikings in the years to come, I think.
Well, we sure hope so, and maybe we can come back next year or sometime and redeem ourselves a little bit.
Thank you very much, Bud Grant.
You bet.
Head coach of the Minnesota Vikings here in their locker room, and now let's go back to Frank Gifford in the Kansas City Chiefs room.
Thank you, Jack. Obviously a different atmosphere in the world's champions locker room. And Lenny Dawson, I mentioned a moment ago you called a very fine game. It appeared as if you wanted to do some trapping on their outside men. You got your first touchdown, Mike Garrett. Let's take a look at Mike Garrett scoring the first touchdown for Kansas City. And I think Mo Mormon got a tremendous block on Jim Marshall. Here it is, Lenny.
Well, we were faking the toss. You'll see the left tackle pulling out, Frank, and we're trying to influence, and there it is, a great influence on their defensive end. And Garrett went in. Mo Mormon made the great block.
And here coming up now is you hitting Otis Taylor.
Well, I don't know what happened on this play. I got hit just as he caught it. This is the first time that I knew what happened. Here's a great move by Otis. And of course, he's a guy that can break up any ball game, Frank. He's got tremendous speed, size, great hands and moves. And
here you're hitting Frank Pitts.
Frank's another guy with great speed, too, and we felt that we could throw in front of these guys today, that they played off quite a bit, and we thought that our thinking was to try to contain their defensive ends.
That 48-yard field goal didn't hurt either, did it, Lenny?
Oh, this Jan Stenrud's done that all year. Here's a reverse. We ran this 2 or 3 times during the course of the day, and the primary reason, Frank, is because Minnesota pursues exceptionally well. They're awfully quick.
Willie Lanier played a fine game for you defensively, as did your entire club. And here he comes up with a very key interception.
Well, that's right. Willie's done this all year, and of course he's a real hitter in the ball game, and this isn't his real forte, intercepting. His real forte is stopping running plays.
And here I think either Aaron Brown or maybe I think Buck Buchanan got a hold
and you
of,
can see the speed
that
Buck has. And there's Aaron Brown coming off. I know that Aaron later in the ball game injured his finger, and look, the thing was turned completely around. It looked like it was broken. I haven't been able to see him because of the crowd, but I hope he's all right.
Lenny, again, our sincere congratulations. I know it's been a hectic time for you down here, and you performed like the champion you are. And I know you must feel very proud of your teammates, and you should be certainly proud of what you've done.
Frank, thank you very much.
We'll be back with the 1969 World Champion.
With me is Johnny Robinson. Big Ernie Ladd just came by and said, I want you to meet the next governor of Louisiana. And I think...
That's right. Johnny Robinson is the next governor of this state.
I think if he ran today, he would be, too. John, a lot of speculation during the week that you might not be able to make it because of injured cartilages. Didn't seem to bother you.
Well, I had it injected before the game and at the half, and I felt a little uncomfortable at times, but it was Friday till I felt sure I could play, and then I felt I could handle it.
I know we talked to the coaches during the week, and they felt and told us how very important you were to the secondary because you were sort of the quarterback of the group, the guy who held the secondary together.
Well, I appreciate that. We have several young boys playing in the secondary, and I know our defenses very well. I work very close with the defensive coach, and we can recognize a few things that maybe an inexperienced person might not have, but we had qualified people to take my place. It wasn't a matter of ability or anything else. It was just maybe experience, the only reason that they said that.
Did Minnesota do anything that surprised you?
No, sir. We didn't. I didn't think so. We felt they would do just about that. I thought they perhaps might throw deeper a few more times than they did, but the times they did, we seemed to have them covered. And then he went to a few shorter stuff, but our line was containing him pretty well, and I think that's the reason he didn't do that.
Just as an observer, John, I got the impression that Minnesota had a little trouble handling the defense that you played, where you either had Curly Culp or Buck Buchanan in front of their offensive center.
Well, that's true, but Buck and Curly wanted to get out of the defense. They rather rush off the four-man front than that triple, and the coach kept putting us in the triple, and Buck and them felt they could have a heck of a lot better rush if they went in a four-man rush, and they kept on the side. They had trouble with it, but our defensive boys felt they'd be a lot stronger in a 4-3, but the coaches kept us in the triple, and they had some trouble with that.
There's one question I feel that I must ask you because you are Len Dawson's roommate. Frank Gifford just spoke with him a few minutes ago about the tremendous afternoon he had today. I'd like to ask you, if I could, since you are his roommate, what kind of week was it for Len Dawson with all that happened to him this week?
Well, I think Lenny showed a great deal of, a personal fortitude when he hung in there like he did. I think he started pepping up after all the telegrams, and boy, just worlds and worlds of telegrams were coming in. People offering their prayers and backing him 100%. By Friday, he pepped up a little, but I'll be frank with you, for a couple of days, he was looked like he aged about 5 years to me, and for a while I kept trying to get him up. He stayed in the room 90% of the time and only left for interviews, things like that. And it was a real pressure game for Lenny Dawson, and you just can't say enough for him, the way he reacted to it and handled it. What a great job he did. I'm just sorry that he had to go through that, but being the top quarterback on the top team in the country, I tell you, that's a pretty good honor. I hope that'll offer some condolences for him.
It's a great honor. Congratulations to you, Johnny.
Thank you, Pat.
Great afternoon. Great afternoon. Now let's go back to Frank.
Presenting the White House, the Secretary of the Education, Welfare, Mr. Secretary Finch. I know you're very pleased, particularly about the performance of one outstanding youngster, Mike Garrett.
Well, we're a little chauvinistic, you and I, because of our SC background, but Mike played a great game, and it was very exciting to see the Kansas City Chiefs come out and execute a game plan as well as they did. I think it was that was the significant thing about this whole ball game.
Well, it certainly was, and we thank you for stopping by, Secretary Finch, Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare. And one other word, I know the president must have been looking in on this one. He was a football fan.
Yeah, he called.
Did you have an opportunity to talk to? Who did he speak with?
I don't know who he's talked to. I know he called, but it was a good game, Frank.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's go now to Jack Whitaker.
Thank you very much, Frank. So there you have the 4th annual Super Bowl. And this great old rusty stadium now has emptied out. It's 80,000 people filtering into the city of New Orleans, which lies behind. And tonight on streets like Rampart and Bourbon and Royal, they will give the old quarter of this lovely old town another riotous time. The 1970 Super Bowl was played by two teams that perhaps reflect the times of the 1970s. This was Middle America. This was the Super Bowl of the silent majority. The Minnesota Vikings from the center of the Northland up where the Mississippi begins. Kansas City from the geographical center of our country, a prairie town grown big and cosmopolitan. The game played here in New Orleans, the center of the South, Delta land where the Mississippi ends. It was Central Time Zone all the way. And both of these clubs reflected the personalities of the towns and areas they represent. There is not the glitter of New York nor the glamour of L.A. about Kansas City or Minneapolis, nor about their football clubs. These are two very physical, hard-hitting, cold-weather teams. And in the end today, it was the boys from the middle of the country, Kansas City, who won, and they won it where good football games are won, in the line, and they made the fewer mistakes. For Minnesota, the disappointment is, of course, keen. This is a proud club. Their pride born of their expansionist beginnings and nurtured by the excellence of their organization. But their fans must know that the Vikings are going to be a factor for many more seasons to come. Today, they were just simply outplayed. For Kansas City, the victory is all the sweeter than most. They came into this game after a second chance because of an artificial playoff system. But once getting that second chance, they made it work. And their win today against the best of the other league solidifies their league's claim to parity and perhaps a little more. They'll return to Kansas City tonight, not as they did 3 years ago as gallant losers, but at the very pinnacle of the professional football world, to the cheers of their fans, not the least of which will be the 4th grade class of the Glenafrill Hill School in Salinas, Kansas, who knew that they would be world champions before most of us did. The year of the Jets has ended. The year of the Chiefs has begun. We would like to thank all the players in the AFL and the NFL and the Professional Football League office for their tremendous cooperation this week, plus the two publicity men, Jim Schaff of the Kansas City Chiefs and Bill McGrain of the Minnesota Vikings. Also, our thanks to the 212 CBS network affiliates who help us produce 8 NFL games every Sunday and who are as proud as we are of being associated with this great sport. Our thanks, too, to our technical crew, without whose dedication and performance these telecasts, of course, would not be possible. For Jack Buck, Pat Summerall, Frank Gifford, this is Jack Whitaker saying good night from Tulane Stadium in New Orleans.
The 1969 World Champions were brought to you by Marlboro Filter Cigarettes. Come to where the flavor is. Come to Marlboro Country. And by Ford, who for the 9th consecutive year has been bringing you NFL football for your enjoyment. And by Muriel Cigars, in a size and shape for every smoker. The 1969 World Champions were produced by CBS Television Sports.